Hi there, my name is Sarah and this is my channel, Naughty Gnome Crafts. If this is your first time joining me, thank you so much for watching my video, and if you've come back, thanks so much for returning. Today's video is going to be a combined episode of Friday Sews and Yarn Talk. But before we get into it, I am wearing my Mimi G Simplicity blazer. I can't remember the number, but I'll put it up on the screen. And my review for this jacket just went live yesterday. So in case you missed that, I will put the link up in the cards. So that's the reason we're combining Friday Sews and Yarn Talk today, because I didn't get a chance to do my normal video since my review is posting on Saturday. So today, Sunday, we're going to talk about sewing and knitting and crochet and spinning. So let's just start with finished projects. I did finish my cardigan that I had been working on. I'm so incredibly happy with it. It's a V-neck cardigan, and I knit this out of different yarns from my stash. The pink and the burgundy color are Miss Bab's Yowza that I had purchased from a fiber festival. And then the white is Reynolds Andean Alpaca that was I had bought from a D-stash and had been sitting in my stash for years. And I knit them as 4-inch tall stripes. When I blocked this sweater, this always happens to me. Let me know in the comments if this happens to you. It drives me absolutely crazy. So I had knit a swatch with all 3 of these colors, and I had thoroughly washed it to make sure that the colors weren't going to run. And in the swatch, they didn't. It was perfect. Everything was wonderful. Well, when I went to go block the actual sweater, the colors did run. And so there are little faint spots of pink on the white part, which absolutely drives me nuts, but what are you gonna do? It's not super noticeable, but that definitely did not make me super happy. So this is my own design. It's just a modified drop shoulder cardigan with a V-neck, has buttons up the front, it has longer sleeves, and I left the sleeves fairly billowy so that they could easily fit over t-shirts or whatever I happen to be wearing underneath. And it's slightly cropped. And for the buttons, I pulled out these shell buttons that I had bought from Joann Fabrics, and I actually used the reverse side of them because I just thought that the texture of the underneath side of the shells was just really interesting and went really well with this fabric. And so that might be a little bit weird, but that's just what I chose to do because the shiny side of the button just wasn't feeling like a good match to me, whereas this more textured side of the shell buttons I thought looked really nice. So because this is a drop shoulder sweater, I can technically wear it with the V in the front or in the back. I tried it both ways, and the way that I got this idea was there's actually, I forget what it's called, but there's a Cezanne cardigan that's specifically made that way so that you can wear it so that it's reversible. And so I tried it out, and my personal feeling is that when I wear it with this side in the front, it just feels like I have my sweater on backwards. I'm not sure if that's a look that I really like, but I did go ahead and film some clips of me wearing it both ways, and you can let me know in the comments if you think it's acceptable to wear it with the V in the back or if that just looks weird. But I'm very much looking forward to wearing the sweater. I'm just so happy that it's finished and that I can have it for the fall. I think that it's going to be a wonderful cardigan. It's exactly the kind of style that I've been looking for, and I will definitely be wearing this a lot this fall and winter. So let's talk about works in progress. So I have been doing a few things for sewing projects, but I'm not ready to share them with you yet because I do have some more collab projects coming up. So I'm sorry about that. I'm really hoping to be able to film a Friday Sews with sewing content next week. But for now, I do have some spinning and crochet projects that I'm currently working on. So I'm still working on my Bond Fiber Organic Pullworth, and I did finish bobbin number 1, and you can hopefully see what it looks like. It's packed on there pretty tight, but hopefully you can see the colors, get a little sample of the colors that are in there. And this is a fairly fine yarn. I think it's probably going to be a fingering weight when it's all done. But yeah, I'm currently working on the second bobbin, and I just went ahead and left that on the wheel because I didn't feel like taking it off. And I'm still continuing to spin every day, usually about 15 to 20 minutes a day, so I'm happy to be making steady progress. So my other work in progress is this gargantuan crochet blanket that I am so close to being finished with. I have been working on the edging all week long, and I'm technically on the last row of the edging according to the book, but I'm kind of thinking that I might want to finish it off after this round with either a picot edging or perhaps a crab stitch edging, just to give it a little bit more flair on the end. I don't know. Let me know what you think, if I should add another round after this one. But I'm just so happy with how this is turning out, and I'm super excited to be finished with it because I think I looked this up and I started this back in 2017, I want to say. So it's been in the works for quite a long time, and I'm just would be so happy to get this all done and washed up and put on my couch. And it also just makes me incredibly proud that all of these yarns are leftovers, and so I didn't use anything like from the stash. Like, it's all just stuff that I had left over from other projects. And I just feel like, I don't know, there's just something about a scrappy project that's just so incredibly satisfying. So I don't remember if I mentioned this last time, but this blanket uses sock weight, fingering weight yarn, all different kinds. And the hook that I'm using is a Clover soft touch hook in the size C. And I don't remember the millimeters, but yeah, it's a size C hook. So those are the yarny projects that I have been working on this week. So I do have a little mini pattern and fabric haul to share with you. After I told you that I went to Joann's last week to pick up some of their new fall patterns, they didn't have them in store at my Joann, but I went ahead and called on Monday morning on Labor Day to check to see if they had put their fall patterns out, and they assured me that they were working on it. So when I went to my Joann's, the lady was actually at the counter, like, rearranging all the patterns, but she was actually really nice, and she dug out the numbers that I requested specifically for me. So that was really nice of her, and so I got the patterns that I had been wanting. The first one is Simplicity 9370. It's this amazing Mimi G design. It's a knit dress with raglan sleeves, and it has this side cutout, which I just think is such a fun detail. It's very on trend and really unique. I've never seen another pattern like this, and I am definitely planning to make this version. I actually have some fabric coming, and I'm hoping to make this pretty soon because it's one of those things that I need to make it now, otherwise it'll be too cold to wear it. And it probably won't be on trend for very long, so I need to get this sewn up if I'm going to. But that is the first pattern that I picked up from the new fall collection. The second pattern that I picked up is Simplicity 9374, and this is for knitted vests. So I had mentioned in my knitting plans that I want to knit a vest, and that is still true. But I also picked up this pattern because it's much quicker to just sew a vest, and I might be able to do it out of some leftovers that are in stash. I would personally, they call them vests. I would call it both cardigans and vests because these two views down here have some little drop shoulders that to me just look like a little short sleeve cardigan, like the one that the model is wearing. But yeah, I'm interested in both the cropped version of the little cardigan and then also the pullover vest. So I don't have any plans specifically to make this, but in case I find the right fabric, I'm glad to have this pattern on hand. So the third pattern that I picked up was Simplicity 9376, and this is for woven pull-on pants. So there's a few different designs. There's a kind that has pin tucks in the front. There's ones that have, the model's wearing the ones that have pleats. You can do cuffs. I think you can do elasticized. Yeah, there's a version with elasticized cuffs, so you can make them look more like joggers. So the reason that I got this is because I'm back in the office. I do need some more work appropriate pants, and I've just been finding myself moving away from wearing jeans. I'm sure that there'll always be a place in my wardrobe for jeans, but I've just been wanting to wear something different, and I don't have a lot of non-denim pants in my wardrobe. But because of the whole pandemic era and just I feel like we're living in this different time that I want to be comfortable even in my nicer pants. So although I do have several patterns for, fancier, more tailored trousers, I thought that these were like a nice compromise, that they are elastic waist pull-on pants so they'd be comfortable, but they also just look a little bit snappier for being on the job. So that's why I picked up this pattern. I'm not quite sure when I'm going to make them, but I think I will try to do it sometime this winter. So I ended up breaking my fabric ban. I was doing a 60-day no-buy challenge, and I essentially got to just under 3 weeks, and then I completely failed at my no-buy ban because it was Labor Day and there were a bunch of sales, and you know what? I'm not even sorry because I got some really good deals. So I actually have a bunch of stuff in the mail on its way, and I will have that to show you probably in a fabric haul video later on this month. But I do want to show you just a couple of pieces that I picked up and then arrived in the mail. So the first one is when I went to Joann's the second time to get the Simplicity patterns, I went ahead and also bought this cotton flannel fabric. This is 100% cotton. It's only 44 inches wide, and so I think I got 3.5 yards. And I really want to make a shirt jacket with this. I know that we're calling them shackets, but I just think that that's the stupidest name, and I don't want to call it that, so I'm going to call it a shirt jacket. So anyway, I have a Simplicity shirt jacket pattern that I'll probably use for this, although I could also use the Fabric Store Paola workwear jacket. I'll try to put some pictures up so you can see what I'm talking about. But I just think that a plaid shirt jacket is absolutely perfect for fall, and I really love these colors. Like, to me, they're very neutral, but also autumnal, and I just really like this color combination. So I do have a question about the plaid though, and I've had this problem with plaid before. So this particular plaid fabric is only brushed on one side. There's a brushed side and then there's a more solid side where the colors are crisper. Which side do you put on the outside? Are you supposed to put the fuzzy side like close to your skin, or do you put the fuzzy side on the outside because it looks cozier? I don't know what you're supposed to do. So if you know which side is the right side or whether it even matters, let me know in the comments because I'm just a little bit conflicted of which side should I put on the outside. So that was the fabric that I got from Joann's. And then I also received my needle sharp box for September. It came very early in the month, and this month I got the So Indulgent box, so I got the luxury box because the theme this month was hooded sweatshirts, and so I got the Chalk and Notch page hoodie, which I forgot to grab the pattern, but I'll go ahead and stick in a photo so you can see what the pattern looks like. And the fabric that I received was Atelier Brunette sweatshirting. So I've never tried this fabric before, but I have seen this fabric. I think that Sally from Secret Life of a Seamstress just recently sewed up this colorway, and I just think that it's so pretty, and so I went ahead and splurged and treated myself to this absolutely gorgeous sweatshirting from Atelier Brunette. It has it's a loop back, but it's very, very soft and has a brushed feel to it, and it's really lightweight. And the box also came with some ribbing. I don't think this is the actual Atelier Brunette ribbing because the colors are slightly different, and it also doesn't say in there, it's not like branded Atelier Brunette ribbing. But I think that it's close enough that it'll be a good match. And I think that I got a little bit over 3.5 yards of this fabric. So I'm crossing my fingers that I'll be able to make the page hoodie and then also perhaps squeeze out a pair of matching shorts, because I just think that a cute little short set out of this would be absolutely wonderful for lounging around the house. So that's what I'm hoping to make with that. And I'm gonna make that next month in October. So the final thing that I wanted to talk to you about is, first, I wanted to thank Michelle of Michelle Sews Again. She's doing this blog extravaganza thing where she's posting a video every single day, and she posted a video about how she organizes her patterns in Trello. So I had tried Trello probably back when everyone else tried it, when Helen from Helen's Closet and the Love to Sew podcast, when she talked about how she uses Trello to organize her patterns. I think it was around that time that I had tried it, and I didn't mesh with it, and I gave up, and I didn't really even do much cataloging at all. But Michelle's video really kind of opened my eyes to the possibilities of putting my stash in Trello. So I went ahead and I logged back into my account and I kind of started over again, and I've been frantically cataloging all of my pattern stash into Trello. And I'm not even close to being done. Like, it's hitting me just how many patterns that I own. But the reason that I'm really enjoying this process and it's making me really excited is that before, the way that I organized my patterns was just in a Google spreadsheet. And so I just had like the pattern name and like basic information, and then you can sort it and all that. But having that visual representation of like having the pattern cover, and I'm also uploading the line drawings, being able to scroll through that and just being able to categorize things by type and then picking things out visually is just so much more appealing to me, and I think that I'll get way more use out of it. So even though it's probably going to take me months, literally, to actually get all of my patterns into Trello, I do think that the process is going to be ultimately worth it, and it's just really exciting to me. One of the things that I've noticed as I've been going through this process is that like free patterns, like I don't sew with free patterns very much because I just forget about them. Like I'll download it and like upload it to my Amazon Drive, but I don't ever really think about it again after that. But having that picture in my Trello where I can be scrolling through, if I'm looking for a top and like I can scroll through and be like, oh yeah, there was this free pattern that I downloaded, and I have this picture of it and it'll remind me that it's there, as opposed to just having it like as a line on a spreadsheet. Like I don't really think about it that much. So I'm really enjoying that process. I do think that it's going to be a lot of work, but another thing that I want to do is go through all of my Berta magazine patterns and enter all of those, because that's another thing that I hardly ever use my Berta magazines, because anytime I'm thinking about it, I'd have to like flip through all the issues and see what's in there, and it takes a lot of time to do that. Whereas if I had each pattern in Trello sorted by type of garment, if I'm looking for a vest or something, I can just scroll through all the vests and be like, oh yeah, there's one in this Berta issue, and I can just go grab that issue and trace it out. So thank you so much to Michelle for doing your video on Trello. It's really inspired me, and it's also making me reflect and think a lot about how many patterns I have in my stash. And I'll save that. I have more thoughts about that, but I'm going to save that for a later discussion. But right now, I'm just really enjoying putting my patterns into Trello and getting them organized. And I think that's all that I have for you today. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.